Good morning. Time to make the coffee. Well, today it's going to be 55 degrees and it's overcast, so I'm thinking we have a chance of rain maybe coming. And no problem, I'm not going anywhere. So anyway, I don't know what's on the agenda for today. I guess I'll find out after I have my coffee and sit and relax a little bit and start the day off slow. I don't like to start the day off just, running, hitting the ground. I like to ease my way into the day. So there's not a whole lot going on, which is always a good thing, because as they say, no news is good news. And boy, especially nowadays. The news is just exploding with nonsense. So, cheers. I know a lot of people rely on the government, and with it being shut down, I suppose some people are not in such a good place. But we seniors are supposed to be getting our checks, so that's good. Because, we worked a lot of years and paid into the system for a long time, so anyway, we should be all right. But I don't know about the food stamps. I guess you have to think of something else to do. And hopefully you all have a stash. Because I've been saying for years, get a stash. So you have to think ahead a little bit. But go utilize your food banks. I imagine they're going to be super busy. But, I don't know. There's so much food waste in this country and all over the world that it's really a shame. Maybe a situation like this will force some shops and things to rethink what they do with their food that they don't use anymore. And, I'm not one that goes by the expiration date 100%. If it smells okay and it looks okay and it isn't too far out of date, I'll eat it, no problem. And even, there's different things. There's Best Buy, Use By, and utilize your freezers. The worst thing, if you're not eating something, the worst thing that can happen if you freeze something is maybe the taste isn't as good as, if you didn't freeze it, but, at least it's still edible and you won't go hungry. And think about really inexpensive things that you can stick in your belly. Beans and rice and oatmeal, those things. If you keep powdered milk on hand, powdered eggs, all that stuff, you should be doing okay, at least in the short run. You wouldn't want to eat that way all the time, like for the rest of your life. But at least in the short haul, you'll be okay. So, all right, well, I'm going to go drink my coffee and think about what I want to do today and go by Bob's saying, there are no mistakes, only happy accidents. All right, I'll be back. All right, I pulled this from my mom's freezer. I still have a couple of things in the freezer there that I'm bringing over slowly, very slowly, because I don't remember to look in that freezer every time I'm over there. But anyway, I have this 12 ounces of Impossible Burger, and I want to get a few meals out of it. So what I want to do is make a burger, and then I'm going to also chop up the rest of it, cook it up, and make a casserole out of it. So using up my already bought food that I have that I don't want to waste. All right, well, I will show you what I make out of this block of Impossible Burger. And I still have more of this at my mom's, and I also have some in my freezer here that needs to be used up, but thank goodness I have it. Okay, I cooked up a burger here, and I like thin burgers. So even if I buy the pre-made Impossible or Beyond Burgers, I always make 3 out of 2. And then I got this little container from Dollar Tree. You get 2 of them for $1.25, and they come with this folded up lid. I didn't know they had a lid until I opened them up. So anyway, I have these Priano ricotta and spinach ravioli. That's, I think, from Aldi's. And the pizza sauce is from Aldi's too. And then here I cooked up my Impossible Burger. So I'm going to make a ravioli lasagna. It's so much easier than the other lasagnas because these already have cheese in them. I'm also going to put some mozzarella and Parmesan cheese layers in between. So that's what I'm making, and this will be enough for a couple servings, 2 or 3, I'm not sure. But anyway, so quite a few meals out of that one 12-ounce pack of burger. And this might even be enough to have with spaghetti, a little bit of it. I don't know, we'll see. So I'm going to put the pizza sauce in here, and then I'm going to add extra water. I'm going to take some of that out and reserve it for some spaghetti. And then the rest of it I'm going to add water to because these need to cook. So I'm just going to layer these, and I'll see how it turns out. Now normally you make these with frozen ravioli, but I want to use these up. They've been in my refrigerator for a long time, and I know they're shelf stable, but even the shelf stable stuff I'll put in the refrigerator just to lengthen the life of it a little bit. So all right, I'm going to put this together and I'll be back. All right, well here I am at my stove, and I watered down this sauce with about almost half a jar of the pizza sauce. And I actually like the pizza sauce better than spaghetti sauce. It's much more flavorful. So this is on the thin side, which is good. And I'm going to layer that onto the bottom of the pan now. And I'm going to put a goodly amount. That'll keep everything from sticking. And I think you can reuse these pans if they're not too dirty. I've reused foil pans before. I don't know if there's a reason I shouldn't. Let me know in the comments below. So I want to make sure that I have enough for 2 layers of meat. I'm going to get some of that liquid, because the pasta is going to absorb the liquid. So these are small. Like I said, it'd probably be better to do this with frozen raviolis, but I'm going to use what I've got, what I want to use up. So I'm just going to put a layer of all these raviolis just on here. And looks like I can get 3 of them across. Now I'm going to have enough left over. I'm probably not going to use all of these. So I'll cook the rest up and just have it with some of the tomato sauce that I put on the side that I did not water down. So I'm going to do this for this layer. Now, some of these stick together, so I'll just kind of patchwork it in. And then I also have, there's some older cream cheese that needs to be used up. So I'm going to stick some of the mozzarella cheese in here along with some of the Parmesan cheese. And I'm going to make that the next layer. Now if you want this thicker, I suppose you can always do two instead of just one ravioli. That'll give you a little bit more pasta. And this fits very nicely in this pan. And I don't know if I said this already, but this is spinach ravioli. So, okay, that's good. Now I'm going to stick some of the mozzarella in here. And I'll do 2 layers of the mozzarella too, and then I'll just top the top off with, hello. Well, I'm just going to use this spoon. It doesn't matter if it's got spaghetti sauce on it. And this will stick some of the mozzarella together. Now normally I use, when I make a ravioli or a lasagna, I use cottage cheese, and what else do I use? Cottage cheese. And sometimes I use a little yogurt or a little sour cream to make the cheese part. And then I'm also going to add some of this. Now this is Parmesan, Romano, and Asiago cheese. So yummy. And I got that from Meyer. I don't know. I imagine you can get it at other places too. I think Aldi's only has the Parmesan. But I'm not sure. Buy what you like. Now this is a little thick, so I think I'm going to add a little bit of sour cream to this. I have a lot of sour cream, so I'll be right back. Now I've got this sour cream that also needs to be used up, so that'll work out fine. I'm just pouring out the liquid that it accumulates up there. So, of course, as usual, I'm cooking by the seat of my pants. I think my camera just is a little crooked. So I'll add in some of this sour cream. Not too much. I don't want a whole lot of this stuff left over. So yeah, I think I'm going to put a little bit more of the ravioli in here. Just kind of make some raviolis in between. It doesn't have to be neat. Doesn't have to be neat and tidy. So I'll just add a couple more raviolis here and there. All right. And now I'm going to put the cheese on there. Now, if you eat tofu, you can use a silken tofu and make like a cheese sauce with silken tofu. You can do that too. But this is really thick. So I have some half and half that I'm going to use here too. So I'll be back in a second once I get this cheese all mixed up. Okay, well here's some half and half that I also need to use up. I just want to make this a little bit looser so it's not quite so thick. And I don't want to taste just sour cream, so this is what I do when I'm cooking. I just kind of go by the seat of my pants, and it's like, oh yeah, I need to use this up, I need to use that up. Now I'm also going to put some Italian seasoning into this mixture because I like it. And that's almost gone too. And I did put Italian seasoning in the meat too. So just put in what you like, have fun with your meals and with your cooking. All right, that's starting to look pretty good. But I want to add some more mozzarella because that's what's going to make it gooey. And then I'm going to put a layer of this cheese right on top of the raviolis. All right, so this is what it looks like. It's on the thicker side, but not so thick that it's not going to melt. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and layer this on here. I want to make sure that I keep enough for 2 layers. And then when I get to the top, I'm going to just put the mozzarella cheese. All right, the rest I'm going to put for the next layer, the top layer. Actually, this is enough where I can actually use this on top. So I'm just going to spread this out just a little bit because it'll melt. Then I'm going to bake this in the oven at 350 until the pasta is done. So I don't know exactly how long that'll take. I'm assuming at least 45 minutes, but I'm going to check it. All right, so I'm going to put another layer of meat sauce and pasta. So I'll be back when I get this all put together. Okay, I've got all my stuff put together here. And I have a little tiny bit of my cheese left. So I'm just going to dabble that in between. But I put some Parmesan cheese here on top now. And now I'm going to, because I need to use up this mozzarella cheese too. So I'm going to put a nice layer of that on top. Cover it with foil. And make sure you have enough water if you're using especially this dry pasta. It's the same idea as the lasagna noodles that you don't bake. You have to add a little bit more moisture. But the frozen ones should be okay, I would think. But I don't know, there's tons of recipes on the internet to make a similar lasagna casserole. And I have a little tiny bit of cheese left that I'm going to save for a salad. I have these raviolis left that I'm going to have with the spaghetti sauce that I put on the side. So that'll be a meal. So that's one. My burger, that's two. The lasagna will be 3 and 4, or maybe 5. So all of that from what was it, 12 ounces? I'm going to just dab the rest of this on top here. From the 12 ounces of meat, not meat. I don't know, I guess we haven't found a good thing to call that yet. So all right, well, I'm going to pop this in the oven. I think I'm going to put it in at 375 instead of 350 and check it like in a half hour. I know it won't be done there. Then I'm going to check it in 45 minutes and see if it's done. Then I'm going to open it up the last 5 minutes or so that it gets a little bit of color on top. Now you want to seal it tight to keep all that moisture in there. And quick and easy. All right, here's the lasagna. I baked it at 375 for 40 minutes it was, and then I left it in the oven. So altogether about 45 minutes. And it looks like the pasta is soft. Going to give it a little bit of a taste here. And it looks good. All right, let's see. This is a challenge. All right, let's give it a try. That is delicious. So it works well on that shelf-stable ravioli too. Thumbs up from me. That's a 10. All right, time for an afternoon cup of coffee. Cheers. So I'm glad I got that lasagna made. And so I have enough for 4 or 5 meals. So if there's one thing that I'm really good at, it's stretching money to buy food and to use food. And I've been doing it for a lot of years. And that's why it takes me so long to cook down my freezer and pantry. Because I honestly could probably go a good 6 months anyway and never go to the store. But there's certain things that I like, and as I use those up, I want to replace those. So I do buy some things, but not as much as I used to when I was still stocking up. So hopefully you guys have some food to fall back on, especially those of you that have to rely on food stamps. Now, I don't get food stamps. I never have. I think I went to a food pantry twice, and it was when I was trying to pay off my debt, and most of my money was going to debt repayment. But I'm not in that boat anymore, so I'm doing okay. But I still don't want to pay these high prices for all this food. So I'm at a point now where I just replace what I use. And that way I don't deplete my stash, but yet I still have fresh food coming in. So I still have like 2 little bins like this big at my mom's house in her freezer. And as I get room in my freezers, I'm sort of bringing some of the food over. So, but there's not a whole lot left in there. I have frozen tofu, and I still have Impossible meat. Those are the two things that I have there. I think I have a big pack of yeast. Not a whole lot. So, and that I put in my mom's freezer when my 42-year-old freezer that I had in the garage finally gave up the ghost. So, and she didn't mind, and she has two freezers. So the one doesn't have a whole lot in it, and the other one is where she keeps all her food. Now, I always make sure that she has plenty to eat, but if she didn't, I would definitely share my stash with anybody in my family that doesn't have enough food. So, but, you know, everybody's different. Some people don't like to store anything. You're more minimalistic. Some people are like me. I'm a maximalist. You know, I want everything that I think I'm going to need. I want it in my home in case I have a medical emergency or some other thing goes on where I can't get to the store. So I've always had that mindset. So I'm comfortable with it. You know, I don't walk around my house going, oh my God. I just don't. I'm comfortable with it. But, you know, if you're more comfortable having everything sleek, you know, good for you. But I've said before, I will never be a minimalist. It's never been my goal. It is my goal to get rid of things, which I do, that I don't use anymore. And I really don't bring that much more new stuff in, unless I get rid of something that isn't useful anymore to me and I need something that I know I'll use. So most of the things that I buy now are things that I'll use, or maybe something for a hobby that I think I'll be using. So in the meantime, that's all I have for you, my friends. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. It helps my channel grow. Don't forget to share, and thanks for watching.